About 2 weeks back, I think the government are deliberately putting some measures in place to reduce the price of food in the market. Nigeria, being an oil producing nation, solely depend on import of refined fuel, and since there is low test of naira compared to the exchange rate, it affects the price when it comes to landing cost. Mind you, you know that the government is not selling directly to Dangote. Okay, there is a middleman, you understand, that is involved, and they are not based in Nigeria. Transparency and accountability is a major issue. That is what is affecting us in this country.
Welcome to Support Without Boundaries. My name is Ipo Elijah MC Network.
And my name is Elliot Cassandra Erika. Today in the studio with us is an associate professor of computer engineering. He has a PhD in computer engineering, award of Best Dissertation 2015, numerous recommendation letters for his contributions to the various development activities at Edo State University, EMO, especially during COVID-19 era. Former Director ICT, Edo State University, EMO. Former Director of Estate and Works, Edo State University, EMO. Chairman and member of several university committees. Ladies and gentlemen, Engineer Aliu Daniel.
Welcome to the program, sir.
It's so pleasing to have you.
Thank you.
And you do look amazing. I love the outfit.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's a pleasure, sir. Welcome once again. So, sir, Nigeria had some downtimes recently, and one of the cause of these downtimes is due to the hike in petroleum prices. Sir, today, can you tell us some of the causes of hikes in petroleum prices in Nigeria today?
Yeah, there are several key factors. There are several key factors that are responsible for the hike. One of the major key factors is the unprepared removal of fuel subsidies, which are then cause ripple effect on the economy in general, because it resulted in sudden hike or surge in transportation fare, food costs in the cost of food production, and food items in the market. Because of that, it has also affected the purchasing power of an average Nigerian, especially the low income earner like us, which has affected a lot of things. Secondly, another major key factor for price increase is the volatility of exchange rate, because Nigeria, being an oil producing nation, solely depend on import of refined fuel, and since there is low in terms of naira compared to the exchange rate, it affects the price when it comes to landing cost of petrol import in the country.
Okay.
And secondly, the recent happenings in the Middle East, the war between Israel, America, and Iran, which has also affected the Strait of Hormuz, which is responsible for the transportation of crude. From that, about 20% of the oil crude distribution in the world, which amount to about 20 million of barrels per day, which has actually affected the supply. And you know, our local refinery, especially the one that is upstream now of Dangote.
Yes.
And you know that the Dangote refinery capacity is about 650,000 barrels per day refinery capacity. And Nigeria is not the sole supplier of crude to Dangote. So we also import from US and other Middle East country. So because of that, it has actually affected the hiking price of petrol in Nigeria as of today. And the price also varies depending on your location, which is location specific and filling station specific. So we all know that it ranges between 1,300 to 1,500, as I said, depending on the location and the filling station,
The filling station, of
which
course.
can be independent markets, station, or the major filling station. So I think these are the major key factors, apart from the various other factors that are responsible for the hike in price of petrol in the country as of today.
Sir, as of today, how much is the petroleum price in your area?
As I said, based on the statistics available, is between 1,350 and 1,500. And why is so that depending on the filling station you are purchasing from or you are buying from, whether independent marketer or major filling station, that is what it stands as of today.
So, sir, how do you think the increase of petrol has affected the lives of Nigeria? Like you said, the low earners.
Yes, it has affected the life of an average, let me say, an opolo, in the sense that everything we do, whether production, manufacturing, agriculture, is powered by petrol. Because the movement of agricultural produce from farm to the market is dependent on transportation. So the cost of the increase in the price is directly proportional to the cost of transportation. And secondly, there is just minimal adjustment in the minimum wage, which has not changed anything. So the purchasing power is low because of the increase in food items and other manufacturing products. So because of that, an average earner has already embarked on some measures to cope with the reality on ground by cutting costs in terms of meal, education, medical care, and what have you. So with that, you know that it has really affected an average earner like us, as I earlier said. So the cost of transportation and then manufacturing, that's what has adversely affected an average Nigerian due to the hike in the petrol price.
All right, sir. So, sir, how can the government improve the country's refined capacity to increase domestic production and reduce reliance on imports?
Yes. Among several, one of the major measures that the government can do to improve the refining capacity in the country is to encourage the local refineries. For example, the Dangote, is to ensure to put deliberate policies in place to ensure that they can supply Dangote to the maximum amount of crude it need locally, and deliberately reviving the government existing refinery, and also trying to put a deliberate policy in place to ensure that they place modular refineries in place. With that, I believe that all these measures will increase the refining capacity. And then one major thing that we always skip, apart from talking about this reviving the existing refinery and maybe Dangote, and going into private partnership, the distributive chain is a major concern. Whether Dangote has it, because of the bad road infrastructure and the lack of other like railway that we don't have for transporting those kind of goods, we definitely still have some impact on the price of fuel. So once government put all this infrastructure in place, I believe that we can hit the mark.
Well, sir, you said because of the recent happening, the war that's happening, that is why also we have hike in petroleum products. So, sir, Nigeria as an oil nation, why do the war in other countries affecting us?
Basically.
Yes. You know, whether we like it or not, even in our place of work, we have different bodies we belong to that regulate our activities. Nigeria is not a just oil producing nation. is a member of OPEC, Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries. Whatever we are doing is Nigerian government do it based on the regulation of OPEC. OPEC exporting capacity of Nigeria is 1.5 million barrels per day. And as you rightly said, you know that we don't refine crude in Nigeria. We export refined crude. We transport this through various routes. As I said, the Middle East is a major supplier regulatory bodies of OPEC, which they are the major stakeholder without relegating any other country. So it has that ripple effect on us because of the international engagement we are seriously involved in. That is why it's affecting us. And take, for example, the Dangote, as I said, export crude from US light crude. And, even the US, they are having serious challenge in opening the Strait of Hormuz. Yes. And you also observe that they are destroying all the major refining facilities in the Middle East, not just the Strait of Hormuz. Like you can see the recent power gas plant bombed by Israel, while the Iranian also retaliated by destroying the Qatar refined capacity. Even the Saudi Arabia refinery of few days ago, they also affected the Iraq refinery. You can see all these things, they cumulated to form a kind of ripple effect across the world because we are not in isolation. Yes. That is the major cause of the price of because even though we are refining in Nigeria, for instance, we might not have the capacity to hold, like US. USC import a lot of crude from other countries. Yes. Despite they have. So you can see, because your production is not enough to meet your consumption. So you try to have that network with the other OPEC country members, you find out that the fluctuation of it will have that ripple effect.
So, sir, talking about production and consumption, don't you think Nigeria as an oil nation, don't you think we have enough to sustain us, Nigeria? So why do we have to suffer the price in hike of petroleum products?
Because we don't have the facilities in Nigeria to meet our consumption rate. That's why I said Nigeria solely imports refined petrol into the country. So because of that, even those facilities where we take this our crude to, you also have, because, for example, as a businessman, those countries, they are also into business. It's partnership. For the fact that our government deliberately refused to make sure that our refinery work. You cannot take, for example, just 1,500 barrels of oil to a country expected to just, it's a bash. So they expect that, yes, they wait for you to come so that they can bash all these things. In trying to have all those things, all those jumerage and every other thing, returning and every other thing, based on the fluctuation in dollar, we also have that effect on us. That is why we are experiencing the hike we are experiencing currently few weeks back because of all these factors put together.
Okay, sir. So what measure is the government taking to mitigate the effects of the hiking price on the vulnerable citizens, basically?
No, we don't want to be pessimistic here. Okay. In fairness, just for the benefit of doubt, we all know that the government have put a program in place, cash transfer program, to the vulnerable. But the problem is that we don't know where they obtain their data from. How they determine those that are vulnerable, because as far as I'm concerned, I'm also vulnerable. So they have not received any cash transfer. So which is a good thing if properly harnessed by getting to the target people. You understand? So, and secondly, you see that some states has also put some measures in place by subsidizing transportation. But as rightly said, it's not still enough. Like Edo, for example, is an example. The Edo line. If I'm traveling to Benin, if I use Afema, I pay 2,000 naira extra. But if I use the Edo line, I pay about 5,000. And I pay almost 20 something to 30,000 naira, depending on the vehicle, if I'm going to Abuja. But if I use Edo line, it's no longer like that. It's part of the measures. Are we getting it?
Yes.
So you also observe that the salary adjustment that the government have put in place, but quite unfortunate that some states are not fully implementing it. I believe that if all these things are fully implemented, I think can cushion the effect of this price in food. And I think about 2 weeks back, I think the government are deliberately putting some measures in place to reduce the price of food in the market. Take all these things are the various measures that the government is putting in place to cushion this effect.
So, sir, let's talk about the international market. What is the price of crude oil in the international market?
Yes, before the attack started on February 28th, the benchmark crude is Brent crude, which ranging between $75 and $90 per barrel. And after the attack and the various retaliatory attack, I think as of today, it ranging between $100 and $121 per barrel on international market. That is what it is as of today.
Well, sir, so if it happens that they are selling for 100 to 120 per barrel, does that still affect we, the Nigerians?
Yes. No. As I said, the major refinery in Nigeria that is functional
Yes.
as of today is Dangote Refinery.
Yes.
Dangote import at that rate. Despite the Nigerian government have deliberately put in place crude for Naira exchange with Dangote. Mind you, you know that the government is not selling directly to Dangote.
Okay.
There is a middleman, you understand, that is involved, and they are not based in Nigeria. And they try as much. That is why Dangote has also been complaining, because these middlemen, they are based in Europe. They are the one that government said to Dangote go to buy from them.
Okay, so sir, why can't the government just deal directly with Dangote, since he's a Nigerian and we are the oil nation?
Before Dangote comes in, as I said, everything is based on memorandum of understanding, agreement, contract, because government is also into, they always say government does not have anything to do with business. That is not entirely true, because whatever government is doing is based on what? Business, to profit from whatever transaction, whether good or services. These things have been in place, and you discover that it's as if, no, we might not be directly involved before now. Whatever transaction that this person, the Nigerian government, will be trading with their crude, they'll be an agent. They are like agents. Maybe as time goes on, they might review those kind of agreement that Nigeria government went into before the Dangote refinery come up stream and water.
So, sir, in your exact word, talking about the middlemen, do you think they are the cost or they are the problem in the price hike?
In Dangote,
yes,
yes, it's part of it. It's part. That was why I said there are several factors. It's part of it, because whether you like it or not, they want to get their own commission. In adding those commission, it will also impact on what the Dangote will also sell of the price. The price is going to fix whatever is going to do going forward. So, as of now, I believe that they cannot just do away with it until probably whatever agreement they've gone into, because I don't have detailed about the agreement they went into as of now, that those agents, which people commonly refer to them as middlemen, that they engage in. So it also has serious effect on the price that we are talking
Okay,
about.
sir. So, how does the government plan to ensure transparency and accountability in managing the generated from the petrol increase price?
No, transparency and accountability is a major issue. That is what is affecting us in this country. Because some of us will be opportune to travel across the Atlantic. You discover that what I've observed over there is transparency and accountability. And I believe that the citizen need to hold government accountable by constantly demanding for probably, especially the subsidy removal, by publishing the money saved from subsidy for us to see and how this money are being spent. And there should be this constant independent audit to audit whatever money we are saving from subsidy and how they are going to utilize. And one other key factor that I've observed out there that we are not experiencing in Nigeria is institutions. Institutions are not given the autonomy to operate, what we call oversight. Like people were expecting to carry out those oversight either on state and federal, supposed to be the National Assembly and state houses of assembly. But we believe that they are not doing it. And they can also deliberately pass law to ensure that these regulatory bodies, take for example NFPC, needs to be free of deliberate corruption. They need to open up their books for us to see, as you rightly said, and they need to monitor accordingly. Without this, I believe the transparency will also regulate these prices of petroleum products.
So, sir, one more before we go. What role can the private sector play in the challenge in the price of petroleum products?
Yes, it's very key for, as I said earlier, there is a popular saying in public domain that government have no business in doing business. You understand? So they can go into partnership and they need to provide enabling environment for investors. They need to provide to ensure deliberate policies and law for the private investors to see that yes, their investment will be protected, that rule of law holds sway, and by so doing, they will encourage them to build more refineries, and like the Dangotes. And I think one other refinery is ongoing is in Akwa Ibom by Boa, owner of Boa, Rabiu. So with this, you discover that we can address and also giving license to individual to set up modular refineries. Irrespective, you take for example, if you have a modular refinery, 2-3 persons, like my guy here, he has it, and some of his colleagues, they also have like 2-3 modular refinery in Aushi here. Definitely, the price will be minimal compared to this hike, because the distribution chain within Aushi will be less compared to when he's taking it to Benin or Warri.
Okay, sir, you said government have no business in doing business.
Yes.
So talking about partnership, who are they partnering with?
Yes, that is why with the private sector.
Yes.
Is for you to, because they need to partner to monitor the activities of those private investors to ensure that they are not shortchanged or this arbitrary increase in price is not there. Because if you totally abstain that for the fact that yes, they came, they invest, they are doing all this business, if you don't monitor them, they can do whatever they like. That is the partnership we are talking about, because government will definitely provide that enabling environment. Because if the private investors are striving, they pay more tax. So government generate more revenue via that. So with that, we discover that There are a lot. They can even partner with banks. You understand? That is one other thing I discovered that Nigeria banks are not doing. Out over there, you discover that banks are responsible for all these things.
The hike in
no,
petroleum price?
No, in the private partnership and enablement.
Okay.
In the sense that, yeah, you can be a businessman. You might not have that kind of... Bank comes in to say, we are going to finance this, your project. This is how we are going to do it. So government should also deliberately make policy that will make Nigeria banks to get involved in all these businesses and partnership we are talking about. With that, I believe that there will be a lot of stake and profitability about our crude production and refining in Nigeria, and that will drastically reduce the price, and in return it will make life comfortable for our ordinary Nigeria.
Thank you so much, sir. And that's it for today, and thanks to our professor for giving us an in-depth analysis on this matter. My name still remains IPO Elijah MC Network.
And my name is Aliu Cassandra Erika.
And this is Support Without Boundaries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let us talk. Let us talk. Support without boundaries.